From what you saw to Gil, does your opinion change? Do you want to see him in the bullpen, or do you like him in the starter role? Where do you lean?
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. With me, as always, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, successful weekend?
Yeah, seemed neither the Yankees or the Orioles want to take advantage, but successful.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the bell so you know when our videos go live. Today's show will preview the series against the Royals. It's Minors Monday. We're going to see how certain guys are doing. Jasson Dominguez. And, those teams are winding down. Playoffs are happening for some of them. So we'll talk about that. But first, there's a first before the first. I would like to congratulate a guest on the show. He's now in the Red Sox system, but we'll congratulate him anyway. Righty Richard Fitts was called up by the Red Sox, and he was on Locked On Yankees last season. So I just want to wish him well, but not against the Yankees. So pretty cool. But first, here's the thing. This would have been a great series, right? 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. You don't give up any earned runs. Sunday was like a bad luck kind of a loss, but 2 out of 3 going into Chicago is great. Mm-hmm. But because the Yankees didn't play as strongly as they should have leading into the series with the Cubs, and having trouble with teams that they should have beaten, it kind of feels like a...
Yeah, I'd agree. Let's start off with the fact that Baltimore refused to take advantage of the Yankees faltering, right?
Yeah.
Refused to, because, the Yankees had the crappy series prior, and then they go into the Cubs series and Baltimore up a game, and now the Yankees are back up a half a game because Baltimore decided to lose 2 out of 3 to Tampa. So both teams this constantly back and forth. You really can't tell. It's confusing to me how the Yankees can't take advantage of bad teams, but they play the Cubs, who come in hot, coming off a no-hitter, and have their offense has been sizzling, and the Yankees come in and just completely shut the Cubs offense down. So weird. The ball was not, any ball in the air was not scoring any runs this weekend. This is the first series for the Yankees since 2014 that a home run was not hit by either team in the entire series, which to think of is insane to think of, like no home runs being hit by the entire team, like either team. Wild series, lots of people that I don't know if you knew, but I saw a lot of people made the trip out there. A lot of Yankee fans in Wrigley Field. Really a cool trip to be a part of, to go to. All these, starts, a lot of positives coming out of the series, but let's get into Gil and Schmidt first, right? Because I wanted to get into the comments that are made by Nestor, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
From what you saw to Gil, does your opinion change? Do you want to see him in the bullpen, or do you like him in the starter role? Where do you lean?
I lean in the starter role because the Yankees, I feel like, God, I think it would be Cole, Gil, Rodon, because at this point I kind of don't trust Stroman anymore. I kind of am leaning towards Gil in the starting rotation at this point.
It's very interesting. The back and forth. First of all, just to clarify, if anyone's going to have a problem with it in the comments, I don't think they will, but let's just, more than likely their rotation and going into a playoff series would probably be, I don't think you meant it in order, but more than likely their rotation would go Cole, Rodon, Gil, just set up the righty, lefty, righty kind of thing.
Right.
But I don't think you meant it in that way anyway, in a specific order. No. I just wanted to clarify in case anyone heard it that way, whatever. I don't know. And that's my honest take on it, because I think Luis Gil on end can be a really, really, really effective starter. But there's also the thought behind, he does have the best strikeout stuff in the entire system. So it's like, how you're going to need that in the back end of the bullpen. I don't know if I necessarily trust Luke Weaver to be closing out games. They're going to have to do a gut check, and they're going to have to hope one of these relievers winds up signaling himself out. Or else what I think is going to wind up happening is you're going to have like a Scherzer-Strasburg kind of playoff round for the Yankees, which is what the Nationals did. Now, if you remember, in days that Scherzer and Strasburg were not starting their games for the Nationals and they won the World Series in 2019, I believe, when they won the World Series that year, whenever Scherzer or Strasburg were not starting, they were available out of the bullpen. And Scherzer closed games, Strasburg closed games. Strasburg closed the World Series out that year because Doolittle was struggling so much. They're going to have to do the exact same thing. I honestly, you might see Garrett Cole come in the 8th inning of a game. And you know what? You know what? I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to be that guy, but let's call a spade a spade. You make $40 million a year, $38 million a year as a closer. They ask you to do that, go do it. You know what I mean? You want to go win a World Series? We think about how much we have talked over the last 15 years about not winning a World Series, not getting to a pennant. I don't care. You know what I mean? All hands on deck, go win a World Series if that's what it takes. Yeah. I more am starting to feel like that's the way you have to go forward with Luis Gil. And all hands on deck mentality, and make sure all these guys are clear. Whenever we need you, we're coming in. And I don't think Garrett Cole would say to the Yankees organization, I'm not doing that.
I don't think he would either.
And I think Luis Gil will be open to it too. I don't know if Rodon necessarily slides into a role like that, but it's got to be an all hands on deck mentality. It really does.
Yeah. He'll look great. His velocity was lower to start, but he dialed it up throughout the start and he built it up, and he looked great. He didn't really miss a beat, at all. And Schmidt, the same thing. I know that they took him out after 4 2/3 innings, but they said they were going to do that. They said that Nestor was going to piggyback Schmidt, so you kind of expected Schmidt to not go too far because you don't want to push him too far. He's coming back from being out for more than 2 months, and
he went so much longer than Gil, and his arm was not getting the reps that it needed to. So I do get that with Schmidt, but he looked tremendous also.
Yeah, he looked great. I was just very happy that they both came back. They both look good. And as you said, the Cubs were doing well coming in. They had a little trouble against the Pirates, but not in that last game because they won 12-0 and they pitched a combined no-hitter. So knowing that coming into the series, you're thinking, okay, this could be.
And their offense has been really good at Wrigley this year too, which is another kind of hidden thing in the whole thing. They've struggled on the road, but they've gotten themselves back into the NL wildcard picture. Their offense has been tremendous at Wrigley Field, which generally is a really tough offensive park to be good in anyway. I gotta be honest with you, I was not expecting. I thought the Yankees could compete with the Cubs. I didn't think that they'd go in there and pitch as well as they did, and really stop the Cubs from scoring as much as they did.
Actually, yes. Let's just quickly discuss Friday, because you have Gil start. And then the bullpen comes in and shuts them down completely as well. Gil's the only one that gave up a hit on Friday night.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. Yeah. Weaver did okay for the first 2 batters. Then he had a little bit of trouble closing it down. But 25 pitches, he got it done. Luke Weaver got his first career save on Friday night, which was great to see. Also, on Saturday, I was happy that Boone didn't decide, oh, okay, let's take Nestor out for the 9th and have someone close. I was actually shocked and pleasantly surprised that Boone didn't go by the book and was like, all right, here, you finish that, do your thing. And same thing with Nestor, 4 1/3 innings, no runs, no hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. The Cubs were just completely shut down in those first 2 games. It was unbelievable to watch. Now, speaking of Nestor, let's quickly go through this. After the game,
should we do this in the second segment with Miners Monday? Because I feel like there might be a little more to say about this, and people are going to want to hear our opinion on it.
Yeah, we can do that.
I just think there's a little bit more to dive into when it comes to these kind of comments. I think if you want to go over the Weaver and the Judge and Soto stuff now, we can kind of kill that, and then go into the Miners stuff and do Nestor too, because. Trust me, you guys listening, you're gonna want our opinion on the Cortes stuff, because it's whether you heard the comments or not, you're gonna want to hear the comments. But Stacey, you did add this note in here. I think it's worth mentioning too. What is going on with Judge and Soto? Because are you seeing anything differently out of the way that they're approaching their at bats or going into it, or is it a little bit of a quote unquote slump? They're not being not productive players. They're just not, the power's not there.
Right. I'm seeing from Judge, I'm seeing less selectiveness, a little bit, just a little bit, not a lot. He's still batting 322, 321. Yeah. He's still fine. It's just
I wouldn't call myself concerned.
Yeah, no, it's just annoying because, as they go, the offense goes. So if they don't do
Yeah,
anything, the
and
rest
Judge has
of the
become a
team,
normal hitter now.
yeah, like how dare you just hit singles and doubles? I mean, he had the big double the other day. It's fine. But y- I just want them to kind of snap out of this. My one friend said that she thinks they're just waiting for the playoffs to explode. I'm like, well,
No,
I mean, that'd be nice, but
I
let's
do
do
want
it
to mention
before.
there were a few hits, and this guy deserves to get mentioned because he never gets the credit he deserves as a Yankee, and it'll always bother me. But Giancarlo Stanton hit the absolute bleep out of a few balls in Wrigley, and the wind just pulled it back in. But
I
he hit some
know.
balls so hard this weekend.
I
The guy
know.
never gets credit for being the player that he is, but I mean, he's very,
He
very, very under the radar, having a tremendous season for them.
and he's a big key in the playoffs too, because he usually goes
Huge.
off in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if you
huge key.
have Judge, Soto, Stanton going off in the playoffs, that could be a lot of fun.
Massive.
So that'd be
Massive.
great. Quickly about Weaver, he joked that he blacked out during the ninth inning. He didn't really black out, but some of the beat writers were
Did
like,
you
"Well,
see the beat writers?
what do you mean by blacked out? What is it? What do you mean? Why? Really?
Love you guys, and I know we have a bunch of older fans of the show, but it was clearly a bunch of older dudes who didn't know what that phrase means, and it was so frustrating because he was like proud of himself, Weaver. You could tell, like, because it's a nerve-wracking moment to come in. It's a different role as a closer, and he
Yeah.
used the phrase, "Oh, I blacked out when I came in." They're like, "What do you mean? Were you drinking prior?" Like, it was a whole blacked out. For anyone who doesn't realize, just kind of means that you just lose yourself mentally for a bit. You're kind of like not. It's like you're physically here, but your brain's kind of over here. That's kind of
Right.
what it means by blacked out. He doesn't mean that he was drinking or anything like that.
Right. And it was just kind of like, guys, come on. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to discuss the Nestor quotes. We're going to tell you how the minor league players are doing and more. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you would like your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Just don't make them novels, Robbie Garns. I'm just kidding. We love you. Thank you for asking us questions every week. If you want top priority on Fan Mail Friday, you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us reactions to games and other stuff. You can tell us how cool we are too. We like those text messages as well. There's a 14-day free trial, and it's a blast. Coming up next, we're going to dive into Nestor's quotes.
You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We have something a little different for you. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then, with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Guys, NFL football is back. I had the most amazing Sunday watching games the entire day, and you can too if you're betting on FanDuel, winning a lot of money. And guess what? Jets plus 4.5 on Monday night. How can you not love that pick? Just visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to download America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back, and thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. And for your second listen, enjoy the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB. It's available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. All right, Stacey, we're back with everybody else. I wanted to mention this. I mentioned this in the first segment that we were going to move the Nestor Cortes topic to segment 2 because it needed to be broken down a little bit. And let's start off with the quote because we can break it down after that. Whether you guys saw this or not, I'm not sure, but Nestor said this after the game. Obviously, I was upset. I feel like amongst the starters, I've been the workhorse here, Cortes said. Once Garrett Cole went down, they picked me to be the opening day starter, not necessarily the #1, but the opening day starter. I had to switch my routine there, and now they do this. I'm never going to back down from a challenge. I'm never going to leave my teammates out to dry. You're always going to get my best effort, no matter if I'm happy or not. That's what I did today. I just came out there and proved that I can be in any situation from here on out. If that's my role, then I'll accept it.
the problem. It was only going to be this one time.
Yeah.
It was only going to be this one time. Boone said it a few days ago. He said, this is how we're doing it. Gil and Schmidt are coming back. Nestor is going to piggyback one of them, depending on what's going on. And they decided it was going to be Schmidt. And then he's going to start in the Red Sox series. Nestor on the road. Not great this year, right? He pitches 4 1/3 innings in relief. He gets the win on Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm.
He does what he needs to do. He looks great. Everything's great. And then he comes out and says this. And you kind of want your players to be fiery and you want them to be, I guess. But I feel like that kind of quote, I don't know. It may have worked better, with him being mad about it, if it didn't work out. But it worked out perfectly. It was great. They did a great job.
This quote is more him being a baby than anything else. Like having your ego hurt because you were taken out of the starting rotation. And let's be real, dude. You've got a 6 ERA this year, and you haven't been tremendous for the team all year. You haven't. Now he's had good starts back and forth, but he has not been tremendous for them all year. He's the stretch of good starts that he did have about a couple weeks ago. We brought this up on the show multiple times. Take it with a grain of salt. He faced a lot of really bad teams in those starts. He went through a stretch of hitting the White Sox and just awful teams. So he has not been great this year. And the Yankees gave him everything imaginable years ago when he had that great year. He was an all-star, everything imaginable. He has not been great since. He has been a 4 or a 5 starter. So I sat there and read those comments, and I my honest reaction was, get real. Get serious here. To come out with the Stacey, let's fill Nestor and Yankee fans in with a little bit of information on why Nestor Cortes was chosen as the opening day starter. Garrett Cole got hurt, and a lot of these starters are on routines and schedules day by day. They do the same thing on Tuesday and Wednesday, or whatever their Tuesday or Wednesday is on their pitching rotation schedule. So they'll be ready and optimal for whenever their start is. They didn't want to screw with Garrett Cole. They couldn't because he was hurt. They didn't want to screw with Rodon's schedule. They didn't want to screw with Stroman's schedule. They didn't want to screw with Gil's schedule as a newer pitcher coming back. That's what happened. Mm-hmm. That's why they used Nestor Cortes in the opening day starter role. Because in reality, and it's going to sound mean, they didn't care if your schedule was screwed up. They didn't. Their response to you on the schedule being screwed up was, figure it out. You're our fifth starter. You're the one who takes the grunt on this one. And he didn't approve of that. He didn't like that. You know what? Sometimes in sports, the answer is tough. But yeah, I find this a little insane ego-wise where, all right, you do what you got to do. Fine. You're claiming you're a team player and you're going to come out there and you're going to pitch beautiful. But you go out there, you dominate, you get the win, you have a good performance, the team gets the win, and then you still make the comment. And they didn't take you out of the rotation. They didn't say Schmidt's coming back and Nestor's going to the bullpen. They told you they told the whole world you're going to start again in the Red Sox series.
Right.
No one took your role away.
That's what's weird about it. They didn't take him out of the rotation. It was just this one start that they were skipping, but he still pitched probably as long as he would have
in a regular game.
game.
No, you're laughing at it, but that's what he does this year. He goes into the fifth inning and is out.
Yeah.
It was very embarrassing on his part. And listen, dude, they've given you every opportunity when you were great in years past, but you haven't been great this year. You've been very inconsistent, and he's debatably not going to make the playoff roster.
Right.
Is that going to offend him too?
Right. Because they might do this with him in the playoffs. Is he going to be mad about that?
Or there won't be room for him on the roster.
Yeah.
There might not be room for him. Very strange.
Yeah. No, I think they might do this because he has experience. He has experience in the bullpen, and
you're right.
Could be. I mean, if it's all hands on deck, they might as well.
I loved Cashman was at the game Sunday, and I loved his comments on it, where a reporter asked him on the Cortes comments, and he basically responded, Cashman, with, "Listen, you're going to run a baseball team for decades. Some guys aren't going to be happy with decisions that we make." I mean, best kind of comment you could expect out of a GM. Deal with it. Too bad.
Yeah. It's basically what he's telling the fans about Jasson Dominguez. Speaking of that, segue. It's Miners Monday.
Good work.
Scranton played the Syracuse Mets. They won 5 out of 6 in that series, including a 19-0 drubbing on Saturday night. And speaking of that,
tell us who had a lot to do with that game.
As of Saturday, Jasson Dominguez has 12 multi-hit efforts in his last 20 games. This is all as of Saturday because things weren't updated when I checked them before we recorded. His batting line is at 314, 372, 488 in Scranton. So good job keeping him down in Scranton. He's helping them win.
Yeah, he's working out real well down there, hitting 315. Nice work.
Yeah. Ben Rice.
He's got to get into playtime. Thank God.
Ben Rice homered in 3 straight games, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, including driving in Dominguez at one point in one of those home runs. So nice job by Ben Rice. JC Escara hit 5 home runs against the Mets in 4 games, also as of Saturday. But that's kind of crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of home runs. The Yankees DFA'd Nick Burdi, the pitcher, not to be confused with John Burdi, who will probably be called up by the Yankees because they'd mentioned it over the weekend that he's probably going to.
I don't know where he's playing, but
yeah, well, he's going to be maybe Duke Ellis goes, and he replaces him as the speedy person off the bench.
Yeah.
Lou Trevino is quickly approaching the 30-day rehab mark. He's about 6 days away from it. Or no, let's see. 5 days away from it because this airs on September 9th. So a decision will have to be made soon about what to do with him. So yeah, that's Scranton. Dominguez is doing well. And that's good to see though, because he has to be disappointed in the fact that he wasn't called up because he was called up last year. It was a big thing. And he's not letting it affect him. He's like, all right, you're not going to call me up. I'm still going to.
He's shoving it back in their face. He's proving it to them and saying, no, don't call me up. Fine. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's just every time I see Alex Verdugo step into the batter's box, it annoys me more and more. Like that is what's playing over a guy hitting 315 in the minors and absolutely destroying the minor leagues right now.
Yeah.
Alex Verdugo is who's playing over him. Insane.
Somerset, Spencer Jones. This is interesting. He went 0 for 9 on Thursday and Friday with 9 strikeouts.
A lot to work on.
Woo! Then he came back on Saturday, went 2 for 5 with a home run and a double, but the strikeouts are clearly still a problem with Spencer. Like he's like what Aaron Judge was in his first full season where he had like over 200 strikeouts, but he also had 52 home runs. And it's kind of the same thing. And I wish he would really work on that. I mean, he's still in Double-A, so he has time to, but they really got to do something with him and work on that. Clayton Beeter, who was initially injured in May, was thought to be done for the season in July, made his first rehab start for Somerset on Saturday, pitched an inning, gave up a hit, struck out 2. So that's kind of amazing because honestly, Cashman came out at the end of July thinking that Beater's season was over, and there he is. So that's good for him. Hudson Valley clinched their second half title. They're heading to the playoffs. Nice job. And down in Tampa, infielder Roderick Arias has 37 stolen bases for the Tarpons, and as of Saturday, he had converted 9 straight stolen base attempts.
Not bad.
Good job.
They're looking
Very
for
good
that.
job. Yeah, that's something that the Yankees need quickly. I just love Jazz Chisholm. I just want to say that.
How could you not?
I really do. I just, he tries to get things done for the Yankees, and then, but we said the other day on Fan Mail Friday when we were asked about X factors in the playoffs, I think Jazz is going to be one of them.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you know what too? It's a professional at bat every single time with him.
Yeah,
like it really is. He's such a solid player.
Yeah, it's really great. It's fun watching him. Speaking of that, we're previewing the Yankees Royals series because the Yankees have an interesting stretch coming up against the Royals and the Red Sox. So let's preview the Royals series next. Locked On Yankees is sponsored by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply, and eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. All right, as we said, we are previewing the Yankees-Royals series, which is big because the Royals are playing for something this year. I don't think people expected that too much. I think maybe they were thinking that the Royals would be one of those teams that kind of makes things interesting for the AL Central, and they weren't really expecting the Royals to be in there right now. So
I think they had the same trajectory as like the Tigers.
Yeah.
We thought improvement, but not necessarily a playoff team. And the Royals have been awesome, and led by pitching. And the Yankees are going to get tested in this series because they're getting the Royals, they're pretty much the brunt of their rotation.
Yeah. Monday night, 7:05 start. They're all 7:05 starts, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because Brian always likes saying that, so I'm going to say it. Carlos Rodon against Brady Singer. Rodon is 14-9 with a 4.19 ERA. Brady Singer is 9-10, but his ERA is 3.35.
Yeah, but he's been he's been a consistent pitcher for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't take a lot of credence in win-loss records anymore.
No.
So yeah, I 3.35 ERA.
That's why I said it. That's why I said it like that, because I was like 9-10, but 3.35, because the records don't really matter. Because I mean, hello, Jacob deGrom that one year.
Yeah, Tuesday is going to be a 7.05 also. Stroman's going to go. He's 10-7 with a 4.03 ERA. He's going against Seth Lugo, former Met great, who's 15-8 with a 3.05 ERA. He's been their best pitcher. Yeah. He's been really good this year for them. Yeah. And then game 3 is going to be Wednesday. Heel's going to get the back on the mound for that. 13-6 with a 3.24. Every time you read Heel's numbers, you cannot be impressed. He could very well finish with 15 wins this year. Yeah. He'll go against Cole Reagans, who's 11-9 with a 3.33 ERA. All their pitchers, mid threes. It's going to be a real tough test for the Yankees this week. Tough series because the Royals have played well and they're going to come in here and they're playing for something. Mm-hmm. I know the Yankees are too, but the Royals are coming in, with a little bit of a fire up their butt, right? Like they're looking to take games from the Yankees, and the Orioles are going up against the Red Sox in Fenway. Mm-hmm. And the Red Sox have, fallen off a cliff, is to put it lightly, right? They have really fallen apart in the last month.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a real shame.
Well, let's hope they find something against the Orioles this week.
Yeah, you never know, because the Orioles had trouble with the Rays.
They struggle.
And at home, of all places, like in Camden Yards. Like I can understand it in Tropicana Field because that's just a weird place to play baseball. But for them to lose 2 out of 3 to the Rays in Camden Yards is like, wow. Okay.
Their mantra this entire season has been they just cannot figure it out. Like they are incredibly inconsistent. They didn't have the Yankees like aggressive great start to the year and then an amazingly terrible month and a half in June and July. They didn't have that. They kind of just have been unbelievably mediocre the entire year. And they've got a good record and they've been a solid team in baseball, but they should be up 6-7 games still on the Yankees.
Oh, with the way, we said it when the Yankees were in the throes of those doldrums that they had for almost 2 months. The Orioles should have been up minimum 10 to 12 games if they had just been like, all right, let's leave the Yankees behind, because the Yankees were so bad and the Orioles did not take advantage of that.
And let's be real, the Yankees had a cakewalk of a schedule in the month of August, and they really didn't take as much of advantage of it as they should have. Now, the Yankees played well in August, but they really didn't take the advantage of it they should have. And the Orioles at that point still could have gotten they were tied the whole month. The Orioles still could have really taken a lead on the Yankees and refused to. We were texting earlier, and we'll lift the curtain a little bit. This is going to come down to the final that final series of the year.
Yeah, the second to last series.
Second to last, but the final one for the two of them.
But the final one between them, yeah. And it also worries me that the Yankees have the Pirates to end the season because even though the Pirates don't have anything to play for, it's like
spunky. They're a spunky team.
Oh yeah. The other subplot of this series obviously is Witt against Judge, just because of how the media is pitting them against them for MVP, but they've both been slumping. Judge isn't doing terribly. He's just not hitting home runs right now. Like he's getting his hits that he needs to get. He got like I said, he had the big double the other day. But this is his longest home run drought of the season, correct?
It is. The top 3 AL MVP candidates will be featured in the series.
That's right. Let's not forget Soto, because he's in there too. So yes, the top 3 MVP candidates will be playing in this series. No offense to Bobby Witt Jr. I hope your slump continues. I hope the Yankee pitchers can keep you from running the bases. I mean, he's great. He's really
incredible. He's
an incredible player. He has such a bright future because he's still so young and he's so fast and he just hits so well. And he's going to be one of those guys that, you like watching from afar, but not like you don't want to see him do anything good against your team, which is understandable. That's the way fandom works. But yeah, no, he's incredible.
He's 24 years old. If you want to feel extra old, he was born in the year 2000. He's hitting currently 336 with 30 homers and 98 RBIs with 192 hits.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable year at the age of 24.
Yeah. And, like we always say with Soto, like they haven't even hit their peak yet. Like guys usually in baseball hit their peak around 27, 28, 29. That's when they really start. So yeah, the sky's the limit for both those players. It's unbelievable.
Soto's 25 years old.
Yeah. So
crazy.
I know it's so crazy. They both have a long time ahead of them. Really. It's just, it's unbelievable. Yeah. You're older than the two of them. How does that make you feel? See, it's going to start happening.
Yeah. What were you doing at 25?
And then you turn 30 and then you see all these kids come in at like 22 and you think, wow, okay. And then you hit 35 and you're like, why are managers younger than me? What the hell is happening? It's just.
Well, to my credit, I just turned 27. So in my alternate reality, I should be getting ready to sign like on my Supermax extension at this point. Like I should be going into my free agent year telling everybody nothing. I should be Soto right now.
Yeah. And I just turned 50 and I should be gathering my friends, moving into a house and living like the Golden Girls. So,
No, I mean, or you could be publicly bargaining for your Hall of Fame candidacy.
True. That's true. Could be doing that too. Oh, best wishes to Wade Boggs. He revealed that he's fighting prostate cancer. So let's send good thoughts and good vibes to the Chicken Man. That was his Twitter handle. But yeah, let's send him good wishes. That's a bummer, but he thinks he's going to beat it. So let's hope he does. One more time, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. We'd like to thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And this week, the Locked On Yankees postcast will start. Not quite sure which day yet, but you'll see it in the audio feed. And if you would like to watch the Locked On Yankees postcast on YouTube after you watch us, or before you watch us, just make sure you watch us. Go to the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and you will find it. You get rapid reaction to the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So that's going to do it for this Monday edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McCann. We'll catch you tomorrow.